Prehistoric humans ate tubers first. How 700K years of chewing changed evolution. Imagine our ancient ancestors, over 2 million years ago, digging up the earth with primitive tools to unearth starchy tubers, despite their teeth not being adapted for such a diet. This bold dietary shift, occurring around 2.3 million years ago among early humans like Homo rudolfensis and Homo erectus, marks a pivotal moment in human evolution. But here's where it gets controversial. Our teeth took an additional 700,000 years to evolve to properly chew these fibrous plants. This intriguing gap between dietary habits and physical evolution is highlighted in a recent study which used carbon and oxygen isotope analysis of fossilized teeth to trace these ancient dietary strategies. The findings underscore the concept of behavioral drive, suggesting that our survival-driven habits can indeed shape our physical development over millennia. Luke Fannin, a key researcher in the study, emphasized that while we often think of evolutionary changes in behavior and physical traits as synchronized, behavior itself can be a potent evolutionary force. This idea is further supported by evidence from the teeth of Australopithecus afarensis, which show that our ancestors began consuming grass-like plants called graminoids. How diet shaped human evolution. Early humans' carbohydrate adaptation. Imagine this. Our ancestors, with their teeth not yet suited for the task, were already chowing down on tough grasses and starchy tubers. This wasn't just a dietary shift. It was a pivotal moment that would shape the course of human evolution. But here's where it gets controversial. This behavior-driven evolution challenges our traditional understanding of how humans adapted to their environments. Let's dive in. As early humans ventured from the verdant forests of Africa into the expansive grasslands, their need for quick energy sources led them to develop a craving for grassy plants, particularly grains and the starchy tissues hidden beneath the soil. But a groundbreaking study led by Dartmouth researchers reveals that our hominin ancestors began indulging in these carbohydrate-rich foods long before their teeth were up to the task. This study, published in Science, offers the first concrete evidence from the human fossil record of what scientists call behavioral drive, where survival beneficial behaviors emerge before the physical adaptations that make them easier. The researchers analyzed fossilized hominin teeth for carbon and oxygen isotopes left behind from consuming plants known as graminoids, which include grasses and sedges. They discovered that ancient humans were drawn to these plants much earlier than their teeth had evolved to chew them efficiently. It wasn't until about 700,000 years later that evolution finally caught up, in the form of longer molars that allowed modern humans to easily chew tough plant fibers. This finding suggests that the success of early humans lay in their remarkable ability to adapt to new environments despite their physical limitations. Luke Fannin, a postdoctoral researcher at Dartmouth and the lead author of the study, emphasizes this point. We can definitively say that hominins were incredibly flexible when it came to behavior, and this flexibility was their advantage, Fannin explains. As anthropologists, we often discuss behavioral and morphological changes as evolving in tandem. But our findings indicate that behavior could drive evolution on its own, with significant implications for the morphological and dietary trajectory of hominins. Nathaniel Dominy, the Charles Hanson Professor of Anthropology at Dartmouth and senior author of the study, highlights how isotope analysis helps overcome the challenge of identifying the factors that led to new behaviors. Behavior doesn't fossilize, Dominy notes. Anthropologists often assume behaviors based on morphological traits, but these traits can take a very long time, 500,000 years or more, to appear in the fossil record. These chemical signatures, however, are an unmistakable remnant of grass eating that is independent of morphology. They reveal a significant lag between this novel feeding behavior and the need for longer molar teeth to handle the physical challenge of chewing and digesting tough plant tissues. The team analyzed the teeth of various hominin species, starting with the distant human relative Australopithecus afarensis, to track how the consumption of different parts of graminoids progressed over millennia. For comparison, they also examined the fossilized teeth of two extinct primate species that lived around the same time: giant terrestrial baboon-like monkeys called therapiths and small leaf-eating monkeys called colobines. All three species shifted away from fruits, flowers, and insects toward grasses and sedges between 3.4 million to 4.8 million years ago. This dietary change occurred despite their lack of optimal teeth and digestive systems for consuming these tougher plants. Hominins and the two primates exhibited similar plant diets until about 2.3 million years ago, when carbon and oxygen isotopes in hominin teeth changed abruptly. This sudden drop in both isotope ratios suggests that the human ancestor at the time, Homo rudolfensis, reduced their grass intake and consumed more oxygen-depleted water. The researchers propose three possible explanations for this shift. One is that these hominins drank far more water than other primates and savanna animals. Another is that they adopted a hippopotamus-like lifestyle, spending most of their days submerged in water and eating at night. The most plausible explanation, however, is that later hominins gained regular access to underground plant organs known as tubers, bulbs, and corms. These plant parts contain oxygen-depleted water and are used by many graminoids to store large amounts of carbohydrates safely away from plant-eating animals. The transition from grasses to these high-energy plant tissues makes sense for a species growing in population and physical size. These underground caches were abundant, less risky than hunting, and provided more nutrients for early humans' expanding brains. Having already adopted stone tools, ancient humans could dig up tubers, bulbs, and corns with minimal competition from other animals. We propose that this shift to underground foods was a pivotal moment in our evolution, Fanon says. It created a surplus of carbohydrates that were available year-round, allowing our ancestors to feed themselves and others consistently. Measurements of hominin teeth showed that while they became consistently smaller, shrinking about 5% every 1,000 years, molars grew longer. This dietary shift toward graminoids outpaced the physical changes in their teeth for most of their history. But around 2 million years ago, with Homo habilis and Homo ergaster, the ratio flipped. Their teeth exhibited a rapid change in shape and size, better suited to eating cooked tissues, such as roasted tubers. Graminoids are found across many ecosystems. Wherever they were, hominins could maximize the nutrients derived from these plants as their teeth became more efficient at breaking them down. Dominy posits, one of the burning questions in anthropology is, what did hominins do differently that other primates didn't? This work shows that the ability to exploit grass tissues may be our secret sauce. Even today, our global economy revolves around a few species of grass: rice, wheat, corn, and barley. Our ancestors did something completely unexpected that changed the game for the history of species on Earth. And this is the part most people miss. This dietary shift wasn't just about survival. It was about thriving and setting the stage for the complex societies we have today. So, what do you think? Did behavior truly drive the physical evolution of early humans? Or is there more to the story? Share your thoughts in the comments, and let's spark a lively debate.